Good morning and welcome to our review today. This is the study guide for Chapter 10, Test Review. Okay, the test covers 10.1, 10.2, and 10.3. There is a vocab section, so I've gone ahead and highlighted some words for you. Make sure this section is going to be a fill in the blank. There is not a word bank. You are responsible for bar graph, dot plot, histogram, lower quartile, maximum value, mean, median, minimum value, mode, percentile ranking, range, and then quartiles and upper quartile. If you do not have the definition for a quartile divides the data into 4 equal parts. Just think of a dollar. There are 4 quarters in a dollar. So we're going to start off nice and easy here, finding the mean, median, and mode of the set of data from Mark's homework grades in Algebra 1. He had a 100, a 70, a 90, a 55, an 85, a 100, 100, 100, 90, 95, 95, 95, 100. And if we want to find the mean, median, and the mode, the mean, median, and the mode. The most important thing to remember is every time you're going to take that data and you're going to put the data in order from least to greatest. Is everyone with me? Yes? Okay. So let's go ahead and, excuse me, let me just get this set up so we are in good shape here. All right. So this is number 16, and we are finding the mean, median, and mode. Some of you may have already found it, but let's just go ahead and let me put the data in order. And I am recording this in one of my classes this morning, so they're going to help me to make sure I didn't miss anything. Are there 395s, guys? And 5 100s? I think that's correct. Yes? All right, so the first thing we want to do here is we want to find the median. Remember that the median is the middle number in a set of data. It's the middle number. So, did anybody find what the median was? Yes? 95. 95. I agree, and I believe it's this 95 right here. Is that correct? Okay, so the median is 95. It's the middle number. There was an odd number of numbers in our data set, so it was the number right in the middle. Okay, the mode is the number that appears most often, and he had 5 100s as compared to 3 95s and 2 90s, so the mode is 100. To find the mean, we add them all up and divide by how many numbers are in the data set? 13. So let me just see if I did this right. I think I did. I got 90.4. Okay. Okay. To find the mean, add up all homework grades and divide by 13. Does anybody have a question on that one? Okay, our next problem is going to be percentile ranking. Percentile ranking. Find the percentile rank of Mrs. Urso's class in the Thanksgiving food drive. And here are some other teachers who participated in the drives and how many cans they brought in. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm either going to highlight who I'm looking for, and then I'm going to look for all the numbers that are going to be below Mrs. Urso. Mrs. Urso's classes brought in 1,135 cans. So now I'm looking for any numbers below that. Any numbers below that. So that would be 150, 200, 225, 350, 400, 275, and 500. Is everyone with me? Yes? How many people participated in the food drive? How many people were there total? 10 is correct. Okay, so let's just remember that percentile rank equals the number below a given value over the total times 100. So, how many were below Mrs. Urso? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of a total of 10 times 100 gives me a rank of the 70th percentile. Does anybody have a question on how to find percentile ranking? Are you with me? Okay, our next problem is, and I've given you a little asterisk there, so I guess that's important. Make sure, always be sure to label all of your graphs. I don't care if it's a dot plot. Listen carefully. On the test, my test generator uses the word line plot. A line plot and a dot plot are the same thing. I told you that when I taught you. A line plot equals a dot plot. Here's the difference. A line plot is going to look like this. Instead of having dots, a line plot is going to have X's to represent the frequency. Is that clear? Are you sure? Okay. A line plot has X's, a dot plot has dots. They do and function exactly the same way. Okay. Construct a dot plot for the following set of data, which shows the number of students who attended Mrs. Urso's help classes throughout the year. Okay, yesterday I had a help class, I only had 3. But we have had help classes in here where every seat has been filled. So it just depends on the subject, on the material we're covering, so on and so on. So let me let you guys copy those numbers down. You guys have the numbers copied down? Yes? Okay, let's go ahead and make our dot plot then. I think our data goes from 5 to 30, is that correct? Okay, I'm going to start at 5. I have to make it a little longer. Is everybody with me? Yes? So what we're doing is we're making our dot plot. Remember I told you that on the test tomorrow you may see the word, instead of dot plot, you may see the word line plot. They are synonymous. They mean exactly the same thing. So instead of you seeing dots, you may see X's. Okay, on how many? Okay, so this is, we're going to label it. Mrs. Urso's help classes. Number of students. Okay, how many times did 5 people come? 4. So I'm going to do it with X's just so you get used to seeing it. Remember, X or dot are the same thing. Does that help you? Yes? Okay, then the next one we had was, one time we had 8 people. Then we had 3 times we had 9 people. Is this correct? 1, 2, 3, 4 times we had 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. One time we had 11. One time we had 12. One time we had 13. Then we skipped down to 20. Correct? We had 20 once. We had 22 twice. We had 23 once. We had 27 once. And we had 30 once. So that is a line plot. Again, I know I'm repeating myself, but for the benefit of everyone listening online, a line plot and a dot plot are the same thing. So what you've seen right here is called technically a line plot because it's marked with X's. I am now going to erase the X's and show you what it would look like if we made it with dots. Okay, there really is no difference. The dot or the X represents the frequency. Does anybody have a question? Okay, let's go on to our next question, which is construct a bar graph that shows the number of students who liked the following ice cream flavors out of Mrs. Urso's 5 classes. You can use colored pencils when constructing your graph and get extra credit. Okay, well, we're not doing it for an assignment. So we have these flavors: vanilla, chocolate, cookies and cream, Superman, mint chocolate chip, and butter pecan. So we're going to construct a bar graph. And I chose to go by 5s. And we can write our colors down here. Let's just give you the data again. 5 for vanilla, 10 for chocolate, 15 for cookies and cream, 16 for Superman, 30 for mint chocolate chip, and 22 for butter pecan. Number of students, and these are my ice cream flavors. So the first one was what? Vanilla. Then we had what? Chocolate. Then we had cookies and cream. Then we had what? Superman. Then we had mint chocolate chip, and then we had butter pecan. And so I just went ahead and abbreviated it. Are you all with me? So we had 5 people that liked vanilla. So I'm going to make a bar right here under vanilla, and I'm going to color it in. Okay, how many people like chocolate? 10. How many people like chocolate cookies and cream? Sorry. 15. How many people like Superman? 16. How many people like mint chocolate chip? 30. Looks like that's the winner, huh? And how many people like butter pecan? 22. So here's 20, maybe right there, 22. Maybe up a tad more. So remember, when you're making a bar graph, the bars are not connected and you do not use intervals. That would be a different type of graph. That's called a what? A histogram. All right. Let's go ahead on to our next question, which says, construct a histogram that represents the number of hours that students studied for their algebra final exam. So we have 1/2 to an hour, 1.5 to 2 hours, 2 to 2.5 hours, 3 to 3.5 hours. So this time we are making a histogram. Okay? All right. Hours studying. So this is going to be our time here in hours. And our first interval was 1/2 to 1. Our second interval was 1.5 to 2. Our next was 2 to 2.5. And then our next was what? 3 to 3.5? Is that correct? Yes? Okay. And now we'll put the number of students here. We'll go by fives again. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. I'm sorry, what? Thank you. I'll keep going. And let me just erase this because it's in the middle of my graph, so I apologize. That goes, I'll get rid of that so no confusion. And we'll change our color. All right. So, how many studied for 1/2 hour to an hour? 45. So we're going to raise a bar right up to here. Okay. So that's my first bar. How many studied 1.5 to 2 hours? 10. And that's my next bar. Are you with me? Yes? How many studied 2 to 2.5? 25. And how many studied 3 to 3.5? 40. Okay, and that's what it's going to look like. Does anybody have a question? Are you with me? Yes? Okay. Okay, we're going to do 2 more problems, I think. Actually, 3 more problems. I have time. We get out at 9:01, 9:02. Okay, so we should be in good shape. All right, our next problem is find the median, the lower quartile, the upper quartile, and the interquartile range of the set of data which represents the tallest trees in the United States. So we have the giant sequoia tree at 275 feet, a giant redwood at 321 feet, a Sitka spruce at 191 feet, a coast Douglas fir at 281 feet, a sugar pine at 232 feet, and a I think that should be a Port Oxford cedar, but I think that's a typo, for 219 feet. So, what should be the first thing we should do with this data? Does anybody have a suggestion? Yes. Put it in order from least to greatest. So let's go ahead and line this up. And the least would be what? 191. Then we'd go what? 219, and then what? 232, 275, 281, and 321, correct? Okay. So, we have 2 middle numbers, is that correct? Okay. So our 2 middle numbers are right here. So we are going to add them together and divide by 2, and what do you guys get for the median? 253.5? I think I got something else. Let me make sure I have everything down. 191, 219, 232, 275, 281. Let's see what I did. Not sure. I know what I did. I left a piece of data out when I did the problem the first time, and then I redid it the second time. So we're going to 253.5. Okay. Let's go ahead and continue. Can you look at me and listen? I'm going to be consistent in my teaching, so I'm going to ask you to find the lower quartile the way I told you to find it, which would be what? Okay. Which would be the what? The median of the lower half of the data, which would have been 191 plus 219 divided by 2. So I'm going to do it both ways for you, okay? 191 plus 219 divided by 2 is going to give you what, guys? Who's got it? Okay, so that's the first way. I'm going to do it the other way too, because I know I'm going to have people listening from Mrs. Rain's class. She taught them both ways, and I want you to be able to understand that there is more than one way to do this depending upon the math author. Okay, then the upper quartile would be 281 plus 321 divided by 2, which would be what? Who's got it for me? 301? Okay. And then the interquartile range here would be 301 minus 205, which would give me what? Okay. So that is if you are going to remember the way I told you, is you are going to use these 2 numbers and consider them as your median. Now we're going to do it using the other method. I'm going to change the color of the ink. Let me just tell you, the median will stay 253.5. Do you understand? Okay, people who have listened to Khan's Academy, they're going to teach it this second method. Stats books teach it both ways. So let's just go ahead now and do it using the other method. The other method would be to take all 3 of these numbers, since there wasn't an exact middle number, right? Because we had to take the average of 232 and 275, which gives us now a lower quartile of what? 232, and an upper quartile of what? No. An upper. Yes, what did I say? I'm so sorry. 219. I meant 219. I apologize. 219 right here is the lower quartile, and the upper quartile would be what? 281. So let me erase those and put them in the right place, and I apologize. Stop talking and teaching at the same time. Doesn't work. All right, let's get it right for you. So the lower quartile is 219, the upper quartile is 281, and the interquartile range would be 281 minus 219, which is what, guys? 62. Does anybody have a question on how to find that? I think the one on the test has an odd number of data. Yes, in the back first.
Which one is right?
Okay, they're both right. They are both correct. It depends upon which math author you read. So some math authors are going to teach it the way that I taught it. Meaning if there's two middle numbers, please allow me to finish, guys. If there are two middle numbers, then you do not include either of them with the lower half and the upper half of your data. The other option is because there is an even number and no real median that you get without having to take the average, then you go ahead and take the 232 and make it part of the lower half of your data. Take the 275 and make it the upper part of your data. Does that answer your question? Are you sure? Okay, other question. Okay, well, what do you think, guys? My ITE, let me let my senior ITE answer this question for me. If I'm presenting both methods and they're both correct, do you think I would mark them wrong if they used method A over method B? Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm moving on and having fun. I have 2 more questions to do and we're almost out of time.
Do we have to be consistent in which method we use?
I think that would be a great idea. Consistency is the key to everything. Make a stem and leaf plot of the following set of data of Mrs. Urso's honors test grades. Be sure to label stem, leaf, and give a scale as shown in your notes. Okay, I'm just going to do this for you real quickly because I want to make sure that you guys don't make a mistake. And then the last thing we needed to do was a box and a whisker. A box and a whisker. So the stem and the leaf plot would look like this. Okay, so these are my test grades. Let's get the first one in there. So you guys are copying that down, and I'm going to make it for you real quick. So we had grades range from the 70s to a 100. So I had a 7, 8, 9, 10. The most important part of any stem and leaf is the key. And because this is read as 80s, 90s, 70s, and so on, my key would be 7/9 equals 79. That way my reader knows I'm talking about 79, not 0.79, not 7.9. And now I'm just going to fill them in for you and hopefully do it correctly. And that's what your stem and leaf plot should look like. Does everyone understand how to construct a stem and leaf plot? Yes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. What did I do? I missed something. I forgot 78? Thank you. That was it. So let's do this. 78, 78, 79. That should be right now. Yes? Okay. All right. Any questions on a stem and leaf? Do not put commas between the numbers. That's not what you do. Make sure you label the grade. Make sure you label the graph to lose points. Last but not least, construct a box and a whisker plot. A box and a whisker plot. Did I put them in order for you? I think I did on purpose. Yes? Wow, that was nice of me. A box and whisker plot. I'm going to ask that if the bell rings, if you guys would just bear with me so that I can finish it, because I want to end the recording, okay, without it getting too loud. Thank you. So the first thing you need to find is you need to find the median, correct? What's the median of the data? Which 85? The first one or the second one? Okay, so my median, and I'm going to label him MED. Okay, now I need to find the lower quartile. That's an easy one. The lower quartile is what, guys? And the upper quartile is what? Okay, so the length of the box, this is a good question. It was on your quiz yesterday. The length of the box is just the interquartile range. So the box is going to go from 70 to 95. Is everyone with me? So there's my box. My median was 85, so I'm dropping him right there. Now I draw my whiskers. So they go from my upper quartile to my highest grade, which was a 100. From my lower quartile to my lowest grade, which was a 60. And boom, we are done. I couldn't have timed it any better. Hey guys, I hope you've enjoyed this review for your test tomorrow. It is extremely comprehensive. Please let me go on record as saying, you must know all of the vocab. One more time, the vocab. Let's go back and make sure you remember what it is. Okay, make sure you know the following words: bar graph, dot plot, histogram, lower quartile, maximum value, mean, median, minimum value, mode, percentile ranking, range. And remember that a quartile divides the data into 4 equal parts. Also know upper quartile. Have a blessed day. Peace out.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Bye, Miss